Hey everyone, welcome to this amazing interview that we are so lucky to be having with Denise from theluckybitch.com. Hey Denise.
Hey Amber, it's so good to see you. And I want us, to have that really juicy conversation for people today, like stuff that you and I would talk about normally. We're hit record and we're letting other people hear it as well.
I love that idea. I was thinking when we were talking 2 minutes ago, we should get this on recording.
Yeah.
I'm so with you. And I have actually been thinking about you a lot lately so background everybody, Denise and I have known each other, 2010 or 11?
Yeah, 11 I joined B school, so that's
11. Okay,
yeah,
so 11 for sure. And because I joined in 2010, the very first year. It's crazy to think that it's been so long. And we've met in person a few times, and we've connected online a lot. And we have babies that are the similar ages. So we've got a lot of connections personally, professionally, and we've just been in similar networks. So we know each other. And I love Denise's work. It is with somebody, actually, I've recommended her book so much. There are two books I recommend a good bit, a book called Business Brilliant and then Denise's books. And somebody said that your books should be required reading for my programs because you talk about mindset stuff and you speak very practically, but I go super practically. So if we bridge in the middle, you are more mindset and then I'm more practical usually, and then we have that overlap space. So I'm going to let you give everybody a little formal overview of who you are in case nobody knows or someone doesn't know you.
Yeah, sure. So I started out as a business coach, and I realized very quickly that all my clients were not doing any of the things I was telling them to do because they had mindset issues, and I was thinking, because again, very practical, I was like, well, just go do this and then go do that and then go do this. And then be coming back the next week, I didn't do any of that. And I'm like, it's so easy. And I realized that, you have to have the practical and the strategy, and the mindset stuff is so key as well. So I started teaching my clients more money mindset stuff and having great results. And then I decided to turn it into a program. So in 2012, I created the Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp. And I really went all in. And, this is a big lesson for me as an entrepreneur as well, to not try and be everything to everyone. I was creating some Lucky Bitch spin-offs at the time. I was like, I could do how to manifest your soulmate and how to do this and how to manifest this. And I realized that there's a lot of benefit in just being known for one or two things, like being very focused. So since then, that's pretty much all I teach, is that money mindset piece, because I know that you need strategy, but without the mindset, your money blocks will derail you. And I see a lot of women sabotaging themselves because they haven't dealt with the money mindset stuff.
It's so true. And I love that you decided to focus there. And I remember when you were making that shift, it was a beautiful thing to watch. So how did you build your expertise in this area?
Yeah, well, I've actually always been a motivator, a public speaker. I've done that for a long time. So even when I was 19, I was working in personal development, and I was being paid to do public speaking actually at that age for a children's entertainment company. So I've always been interested in personal development and that kind of work. But the bit that was missing for me was the money stuff, because I didn't realize, I thought you just had to be really motivated and be really good at saying affirmations and that would be enough, not realizing that there was another layer to personal development, which is the money mindset stuff. So for me, it probably was my late 20s that I started exploring that for myself. I met a lady called Kendall Summerhawk, who is brilliant. She talks about money and money marketing and soul. Her stuff is, and that's when I started realizing that personal development is great, self-help is great, and you can be the most motivated person in the world. But without dealing with your money blocks, you will never allow yourself to profit from your skills and talent. That's really key.
Okay, so how do you define a money block?
So a money block is really anything that stops you from making more money. It could be a belief. It could be an old story. It could be a sabotaging pattern that stops you from making money. And I think most people have them. I really do believe that. But some people don't realize they have them until they maybe read my book, and then they're like, oh, okay, I get it. That's why I'm holding myself back. That's why I feel shitty about charging people. That's why I haven't been able to increase my prices for 5 years. Or even if you're in a job, like maybe that's why, I haven't asked for a pay increase. So it's really all those old stories and beliefs that we have around money, and not just even about money, but our ability to have pleasure in our life, which, you and I were just talking about as well. That is a money block when women don't allow themselves to have pleasure in their life and to experience things. Like, how good can they really get? How much pleasure and richness of life are you allowing yourself to receive? So it's not always just about the, cold hard cash.
Yeah. And just to fill everyone in on that. So most people who will check out this video from my community know that I recently moved to California, and we had planned that I would be here for a longer term time, but I got here. I'm like, change of plans. I don't want to be a single parent for that long. So change your plans, honey. We're going to do this 6 months at a time. So basically right now I'm in California for 6 months because Matt went away on a long-term project, which, as he was leaving, I'm like, why did I say yes to that? But now we're into it, and I am so in my element. I love California. I'm happier. And so many people comment on it. They're like, California. I'm like, I love California. And they're like, well, California loves you. So many people have said this to me because my energy is different. Like, I met someone at the start of the year, Rick Mulready, actually, and I talked to him a couple weeks ago. He's like, your energy is totally different. I'm like, yeah, really? I'm like, because it's not that I was unhappy before, but something wasn't right. And I could feel that something wasn't right. My husband and I knew that we didn't want to live where we were living. We were in the middle of changing our life. And so that doesn't happen overnight, but it took a long time to get to this. Yeah. And a little Zoloft, if I'm going to be honest. But it's been an amazing transition. So speak to that. Like, what other blocks? And so if you were going to speak to that and speak to that for everyone who's listening, what comes up around pleasure and blocks?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I think a lot of us have a story about what life would be like with more abundance or whatever. And we think of it as we'd be a different person. It's like, here's me now, and I'm really imperfect, and I have all these I'm not perfect is probably usually the thing, or I'm not enough, but one day in the future I'll be this perfect person, and then I'll allow myself to have all of the things that a rich perfect person would have. And what you really need to get is that you're going to be the same person with or without money, exactly the same. So you've got to start allowing yourself to receive abundance now. And that's not just always about the money. Sometimes it's about making decisions that make you happier, like where you're going to live, or how you're going to spend your days, all of those things. Because money isn't just about, like, making more money isn't about, private jets and, the crazy wealth kind of stuff, or, luxury goods or whatever. But back when I was making not very much money, I was thinking, oh my God, when I make 6 figures, I'm going to basically have my own private jet. Like, I'm going to be so rich. And then you get there and you realize, that's not how I want to live my life. So much of it is about creating richness, and that's about the discernment to know what's going to make me happy, and also allowing yourself to profit from your skills and talent in that way. So you might not need to make as much money as you think you do to have the life that you want. And Tim Ferriss talks about this in his book, right? He's like, everyone wants to be a millionaire, but really you want the lifestyle that you think a millionaire would have. And that doesn't always cost you $1 million.
Yeah. And I firmly believe, like, right now, this pivot, like, I feel like I'm living a million, like, I don't do my laundry. I don't make my own green juice. I mean, there's so much. I'm like, this feels really good. Like, I feel really abundant right now. And there have been no income shifts. In fact, we've actually taken pay cuts. My husband did a job change, and it was a pay cut, and it still feels really good. So I love everything you're highlighting there. What would you say? I remember we were at a conference once together, and somebody was on stage. I won't call them out. just in case. But somebody
Yeah.
was on stage and they're like, you want a cashmere sweater? Change your money mindset. Go buy that cashmere sweater. And I looked at you, money mindset expert, I'm like, Denise, I don't want a cashmere sweater. Does that mean I have, like, is my money mindset off? And so, because I feel like there's a lot of information coming at us, like, do what you want, go get that sweater. Like, you want more, you want to make more, put yourself in that place where, and I was talking to someone even this morning, and she was saying so many people just tell you to hustle and push and go, 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 go. What if so we're kind of being conditioned to want more, even though there is a little bit of a movement right now, right, toward minimalist, but there's still tidbits like, you want it, go get it. You want less, you want, like, whatever it is. So how do you speak to some of that? What's your reaction to that? And I know what you said to me. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, well, good. You have to tell me what I said then. But I think the fake it till you make it stuff is really detrimental to some people, but also it's not what everybody wants. Yeah. And I am very susceptible to NLP techniques. And so when I go to events like that, and I don't anymore, but when I did, where people would talk about get rich, and I was so susceptible to it. I felt like a real loser that, I was like, I don't want a really fancy car. Like, that doesn't turn me on. So it can feel really hollow because you feel like you have to, the path to abundance might be buying expensive things, for example. And I think what we do especially in my work and in the boot camp, we talk about the concept of upgrading your life. Mm-hmm. That's not going more and more and more and more expensive. It's finding areas of your life that don't work, that make you feel stressed or poor, upgrading them to the stage that feels really good for you, and then working on something else. And it doesn't mean, you might stop at a level that isn't very outwardly abundant or rich, but it makes you feel amazing. And that's what it's about, finding every area of your life that feels good to you. Now, you might be surprised or not, but I was trying to think of how many pairs of shoes I own, right? Because that's the whole thing wealth-wise. It's like, oh, look at my closet and look at this. And I think I probably have like maybe 6 pairs of shoes, if that, right? Because it's just it does not turn me on. And I live like where you live. I live in a beach town, right? I wouldn't be wearing like big fancy shoes. That doesn't turn me on. But then other things turn me on, like not having to do my own laundry. That turns me on so much. And having food delivered. So that's where I choose to spend my money. I have a yoga instructor that comes to my house because that makes me feel good. But my hubby, he bought me a handbag when George was born, like push present kind of thing. And he bought me this beautiful, expensive, bespoke fucking handbag with my monogram on it. And I'm like, what am I going to do with that? Like, where am I going to take it? To the beach? Like, is it my new diaper bag? No, does not turn me on. So it's really for a lot of us women, no one's ever asked us what we'd like before. Yeah. And it's hard to know. And that's part of becoming a wealthy woman, is that power of discernment, not buying things because you think that's what a wealthy person would do, or peer pressure, or keeping up with the Joneses, but actually creating your life totally on your terms. And it's actually really hard. Like when someone goes, what exactly do you want? We're like, oh crap, I don't know. I don't know what I would like if money wasn't the main driver in that conversation. It takes practice.
So in that situation, when you get something that you were like, oh, that was nice, thank you, but I don't really need it or want it, well, how do you engage and respond? Because something that I had to learn was to be grateful and, okay, receive, that was a nice gift, thank you.
Yeah, especially for girls, right? We're taught, get what you're given, be grateful. So occasionally Marcus bought me jewelry, and there's been times I've said to him, look, is it okay? Can we return this? Can we return it and get something else that I would prefer better? And so he's learned a little bit more about my taste in stuff. It's not necessarily super fancy. But for this bag, I've just said, I said, I really don't have anywhere to take this, but I will receive it, and it's beautiful. And I'm sure one day in the future I'll go to a conference again when our kids are a bit bigger, and I'll take it there and it'll be wonderful. But I think you have to train people in your life a little bit too, to be like, I don't want that. That's okay. Like, here's what I would like instead. And be okay with that. Like, be okay advocating for yourself and asking for what you want, and also be okay with what that means to, as well. Like, we're buying a house at the moment, like a really big expensive piece of land, and Mark goes, I wonder if the realtor is judging me on my car, because Mark's, he's got just a normal car, it's not a super wealthy car. And I said, who cares if he does? Like, whatever. We turn up to our financial advisor meetings in Lululemon because we don't care anymore. We're not really, we're not doing it to impress other people anymore. Yeah. And there's real freedom in that.
So what would you say prompted the big shift for you? Or did that evolution take time for you also?
Yeah, it does. I think it's a matter of what about this? Do I like this? And asking yourself and checking in. Go buy yourself a pair of shoes that you've always wanted to buy and see how they feel. You might love it. You might go, this isn't for me. And there's power in that. But I think where you have to overcome is the feeling of, oh, well, I'm not allowed to have that. I'm not allowed to have that. Instead, it's like, maybe I like it, maybe I don't. Why don't I try it and see? And then it's a process of kind of elimination. Mark was actually even saying he really wants a really lovely car at some point. And I'm like, dude, we've got young kids. Like, now's not the time for your really nice, expensive car. Like, our car has been vomited in several times. There's a season for stuff, and, he's better with that now. I think his ego was a little bit bruised at the start. Because I was like, you ain't getting a nice car. You're not going to be driving around in a nice car and I'm in the vomit mobile.
That's hilarious. I don't care much about cars either. So Matt drives the nice car in our family. He loves it. He drives a lot. And my daughter actually had to go pick something up the other day, and she was in Maryland in the car. Like, Dad's car's a mess. I don't think he remembered. He should have cleaned that before he left. And he's usually really good, but oh yeah, it's totally in all of our vehicles right now.
But yeah, most of us as women, we've never really being given the chance to design our lives exactly the way we want it. And it might look different than you thought it might. Again, I thought rich Denise would be really super fancy and have, flawless makeup all the time and be really thin and wear fancy clothes. And the reality is rich Denise is very casual and very kind of lazy and same as I always was, unfortunately.
It's funny because I constantly reevaluate. Is this the life you want? Right? Because you learn different things and you experience different things. You're like, oh, I just tried that. I kind of want that now. Like, pivot, adjust, change course. And so we're constantly as a family reevaluating what we want and then aligning what we're individually doing to match up to that. But I also, now that I'm here, I'm, to your point, in flip-flops every day. I've gotten rid of so many shoes. I'm like, oh, why did I even bring these out here? Although it got cold, I'm going to have to go get something to cover my toes, unfortunately. But I'm still checking myself. I'm like, oh, am I too casual every day? Or if I go to the airport, or if I go to a business meeting, like, oh, should I dress up? So I'm still, monitoring myself a little bit. And I think that's the beauty of the work that we do in the Lucky Bitch Bootcamp is, and I believe that even in business, when I'm evolving, right, even the very practical stuff, new level, new devil. And I've heard you say that before too, but there's always something new coming. We're going to, okay, all right, let's try this on for size. Like, all right, adjust what's coming up now and reset, which is why I love that your program is always open. Like, you're always in it. There are always people in the community hanging out. And now you've got the live version coming up. So you will be there helping people through that too, which is going to be an incredible experience.
Yeah. And the reason why, I just had a baby 5 months ago, right? So I've been in a bit of a bubble this year, and I came out of it and I felt this real calling to do a live version of boot camp, which we haven't done since 2012, I think. And I didn't realize why I was feeling the calling to do it, because I like my life pretty easy and chilled, right? Yeah. And I love being able to dip in and out of the bootcamp community when I feel like it. So, for years I was like, I don't want to do calls because that will just impede on my chilled lifestyle. But I felt this calling and I didn't know why. And then I heard from so many people that they're really struggling with their mindset right now, that, the sky feels like it's falling out of the industry, or, marketing's not working, all this stuff that I was hearing. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize this, it was happening. But now, and at every transition point, mindset is more important than ever. And you really have to get back into the flow of your mindset stuff. And so I think, God, the momentum of 3,000 women doing all this work together, plus the live calls and live community, will be so much fun. And I want to do it as well, because, I want to expand even further next year. And I always hit my self-imposed ceiling as well, and I think, well, what else could be possible for me? So I'm going to be right in there in the trenches with everybody.
Oh, I can't wait. And I'm going to be there too. I am so excited to go through this live, and I've got some new stuff coming out in my business, and I know I am hitting blocks. So I'm practicing right alongside with everyone and practicing what you teach.
Absolutely. But the good news is you never get to a stage where you're not in practice. You will be doing this work forever. And we were talking about this as well. It's like, Louise Hay just turned 90 years old, and she probably still works on her self-love and practices every day. And so it's like, well, what makes us think that we're just going to do it once? Like, I remember my first year of business, Mark's like, you need another course. Like, don't you know everything by now? And I'm like, no, that's not how self-development and self-education works. I'm a lifelong learner. That's what I do. And same with any kind of clearing stuff. It's not like you just go, oh, don't you know everything about your money blocks now? Aren't you just perfect? It's like, no, there's always new layers. Always.
And then I find even like my kids, which I kind of forgot about, Audrey's in school now. She brings home new stuff, and it brings up stuff for me as a kid that I haven't dealt with in years. That I'm like, oh, that's a new thing. I got to deal with that too now.
Well, I actually just put it, when I revamped the bootcamp last year, I put in a module about how to talk to your kids about money. So the same stuff was happening for me, right? I was like, oh my God, did that just come out of my mouth? Because I didn't realize some of these things are so ingrained. Like, don't play with money, it's dirty. Don't put your money on the ground, someone might steal it. These things were coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, I've been teaching money mindset for years, and why is this coming up? And it's because these things are so ingrained. Even birthday party, blow out your candles, make a wish, don't tell anyone, it won't come true. I was like, what?
Right.
Oh my God, that is so ingrained in us. And that's why I was like, oh, that's why some people come into the boot camp and they go, oh, I don't want to set my goal, Denise. Like, it doesn't feel safe to talk about your goals. I was like, oh my God, it took having kids to get some of those new things.
That gives me crazy goosebumps, because we are super protective. And we every year in the Planathon and with all of my clients, we're very open. And that's a shift that we make from the very practical perspective, is to start talking about money and your revenue goals, because that's what other business owners do. Talk about your failures. It gets easier after that, right? And the money goals is one of them. So we challenge and invite people to post your goal cards. Where do you want to be in a year? And boy, does a lot of stuff come up, even for me and around it, as I'm posting it and sharing it. I really want to post it this year. You have to.
There's so many layers to it, right? And that's the work we do in the bootcamp, is uncovering some of those layers. And even now, because I talk to Willow about money all the time, and she knows that I work with money, that I let her play with coins, and I don't say it's dirty. I'll just say, we don't put money in our mouths, we take care of money. Little like nuances like that have really helped. And we were out for dinner the other day. She was playing with her money, and the waitress said, oh, honey, don't play with that. Money's dirty. And Willow's face was like, no, it's not. You could see she was just like, it's really not. But she didn't want to say it. She was like, no, money's not. So there's nuances that we all have to learn. That's my word for the week, is nuance. But there's like little tweaks that we need to make around some of the stories that are holding us back. Not just from making more money, but receiving more abundance and living richer lives in all ways.
Yeah. I love the reframe on all of this, from not just about making money, but it's really about that abundance and living the lifestyle that you want through whatever it is. And one of the things I love in the community that people oftentimes share just those upgrades. I think it's the only place on the internet where people, it's like random and people just get it. Like it's such a great community. But I even think about the community when I'm like, oh, new towels. I don't always post it, but I'm like, I could post this. I should share this.
You should.
I don't get back to it all the time.
And again, sometimes it's not about spending more money. Sometimes it's about decluttering things that don't work for you. And so some people are like, oh, I made this upgrade by actually letting go of lots of stuff and making it simple and finding the perfect solution for me and my life, not the most expensive. It's not always the most expensive one, which is cool. Because it's responsible as well, I think. It's, environmentally and fiscally responsible, not just to spend for spending's sake. Yeah, I love that. And long term, right, getting back to Louise, one of the comments that you made when we were chatting previously is like, you don't have to do it all in a year. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to spend it all. You don't have to, have it all in a year. And I think you're right. It's responsible to even think long term, right, about where we're going. What are our retirement plans, even as business owners or as women? That's something, that we traditionally have not thought about and planned for as much. And I love thinking about that long term too. So you plan for retirement really well, I'm guessing. Yes. I mean, I have financial advisors who help me do those things. Some of it's automatic, so I don't have to think about it. But it's more for me, I have this long-term view that I'm going to be doing this work for a long time. And there's no rush to do everything all at once, and that it's okay, and to know that I'm going to be a lifelong learner. And I joked to someone about it the other day. And I said, we're going to be lucky old bitches together. Don't worry.
That's so great. And I love the Louise Hay, like that face in that picture years from now. Beautiful. Not a bad place to be.
No, it's not. But also we have to take care of ourselves, and do some of those things like save for retirement, but also have a long-term view of our business. That sometimes, we might have dips. Maybe we're not going to grow each year. Maybe sometimes we'll have stagnant growth. Sometimes we'll have big growth. But it's about, being in a place where that doesn't matter, that you feel good and you feel rich and you can ride out the kind of external waves a little bit.
Yeah, so good. Man, I could chat with you forever.
Oh my God, I know.
So I think that absolutely everyone needs to join us in the live version of the boot camp, because it's going to be so fun to go through it together. And to your point, just the amazing energy that's going to be there. With more than 3,000 people going through it. So I hope that everyone joins us, but it's open anytime, so people can hop in.
It is an evergreen program. So you can join next year if you want to. But the whole point about joining now is that we're going to do it live together. We haven't done that for 3 years. I don't know when we'll do it again. And that's just not marketing speak. It's just, it's not my jam. It's not how usually I do my business. So, that all kicks off first week in November with all the live calls and live challenges and all that kind of stuff. But there is an early bird rate that ends 27th of October, So, you can wait, but now's the time to do it. If you need that momentum, accountability, the live kind of stuff, and also, you want to save a bit of money off the live version, then jump in. And Amber, I know you're, a proud affiliate, and I think you've got a special link as well that you can tell people.
Yeah, we've got a special link. This is absolutely something, like I said, my clients told me you should make this required for everyone, right, who's going into strategy and the practical and implementation in your business. So my clients recommend it. I recommend it. And there are so many great people hanging out in your community. So I think we should all be hanging out there with you. And I can't wait to learn from you this round.
Yes. And what's your link?
My link, niceops.com/Denise. Thanks, girl.
That's okay. Don't worry, I'm doing like 15 interviews this week. And I'm like, guys, tell your link. Like, be visible. It's okay for you to make money out of recommending something that's fabulous. Like, let's
so fast.
So it's really fun. And as I said, now's the time, and we'd love to welcome you into the community and start those upgrades of creating your version of a first-class life. It might be different from ours, but it's your version, and give yourself permission to do that.
Oh, I'll see everyone there. And if you have any questions, definitely please feel free to reach out to me privately as well. And Denise, I know you've got all sorts of help, or people who will provide more information if anybody has questions. So Denise,
Yes.
we've got you covered.
Yes, exactly. And we can't wait to see you in there.
Bye, everyone.